According to the initial probe findings, the Azerbaijan Airlines plane that crashed in Kazakhstan this week suffered physical external interference. The Azerbaijani officials have cited preliminary results of this investigation. The Russian civil agency has said that the Ukrainian drones were attacking the Chechen city of Grozny as the Azerbaijani Airlines plane attempted to land there.
Отмечу, что обстановка в этот день и в эти часы в районе аэропорта Грозный была весьма сложной. Украинские боевые беспилотники в это время предпринимали террористические атаки на гражданскую инфраструктуру в городах Грозный и Владикавказ. В связи с этим в районе аэропорта Грозный вводился режим «Ковер», предусматривающий немедленный уход всех воздушных судов из указанного пространства.
The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in fact called for a thorough investigation into the Azerbaijan Airlines crash. The Ukrainian president has pointed to clear visual evidence of Russian involvement, according to him. The Azerbaijan Airlines has suspended flights to at least 10 Russian airports, saying that the preliminary results suggest that the crash of the flight was due to a physical and also a technical external interference. Now, Azerbaijan's transport minister has said that according to the investigation findings, Baku believes that the plane was hit mid-air.
Azərbaycan tərəfinin ilkin gəldiyi qənaət bundan ibarətdir ki, burada kənar müdaxilə mütləq şəkildə olub. Sadəcə bizim istintaq qrupu və eyni zamanda işə cəlb edilmiş deməli aviasiya mütəxəssisləri bunun hansı tip silahdan mı deyək, hansı tip raketdən mi deyək olduğunu araşdıracaq.
The media reports have cited officials saying that they believe that a Russian missile fired from a Panzer air defense system had downed the plane. The aviation and military experts have said that the plane might have been accidentally shot by the Russian air defense systems because it was flying in an area where Ukrainian drone activity had been reported. The Russia's aviation chief has said that Grozny was being attacked by Ukrainian drones at the time that the plane had tried to land. But Kremlin has declined to comment on whether the plane was accidentally shot down by a Russian air defense missile. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has also pointed to the Russian involvement and has called for a thorough investigation. The surviving passengers have said that while they were near the flight's destination, Grozny, they heard explosions, followed by what looked like some shrapnel hitting the plane and entering the fuselage.
20 dəqiqə mi, yarım saat mı olardı havaya qalxandan sonra biz sürərdik. 2 dəfə partlayış oldu. Elə bir emma edirdi təyyarə. Eniş olmadı. 2 dəfə içəridə nəsə partladı. Bir kişinin əli qanadı. Təşvişə düşdük.
The Russia-bound passenger jet crashed near the Kazakh city of Aktau after going off course for an undetermined reasons. The 38 of the 67 people on board ended up losing their lives, leaving 29 survivors. The Embraer 190 aircraft was supposed to fly northwest from Baku to the city of Grozny in southern Russia, but instead diverted far off course across the Caspian Sea. All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what may have happened in this case, we're joined in this broadcast by Dr. Peter Layton, who is a visiting fellow at the Griffith Asia Institute, Griffith University, and also a retired RAAF captain, and is joining us on the broadcast. Now, Dr. Layton, thank you very much indeed, sir, for taking time out and speaking to us here on WION. And let me actually ask you this, with the reports and also the preliminary investigation that is now putting out some more information with respect to what has happened, in your assessment, what do you think resulted in this plane getting crashed?
It certainly sounds a plausible theory out there. It would seem that the aircraft unfortunately arrived at Grozny when the Ukrainians were attacking the town with drones and possibly missiles, and the Russian air defense system mistook the civilian aircraft for a drone and shot the civilian aircraft down. Now, the Russian missile systems sometimes are operated in an automatic mode, so it is possible that there was no humans involved in this, but rather that the radar-guided surface-to-missile system acted by itself.
Now, for people who are not familiar with this, one would assume that on the radar, the signature of a different flying object would be different. The signature of a drone would be different from a passenger plane, which is much larger in the case. Do you think this is a mistake that has happened because these air defense systems, which are also automated in many of these cases, would not have read the difference between what could be a hostile drone and what is essentially a passenger plane?
I mean, certainly you are correct in that the passenger plane and the drone would have been flying at different speeds, and their altitudes would have been different as well, and the radar signature, at least in theory, should be significantly larger. However, sometimes under the pressure of war and the pressure of the situation, aircraft and drone targets can appear similar. What does seem to have happened, though, is that, and picking up on what you've said there, I think the missile which had proximity fusing appears to have exploded at a reasonable distance from the passenger aircraft, probably because it is such a large radar signature. And because it exploded such a long way away, the fragments of the missile warhead did not cause that much damage. So the aircraft was able to be crash landed later. So that meant that the aircraft did not, if you like, fall out of the sky overhead Grozny.
Interesting. And my final question to you, Dr. Layton, is this. Considering that there was somewhat, the Russians have described as hostile drone activity, which was aimed towards the city of Grozny, which is what resulted in this plane taking a diversion. For people who are not very familiar with this, how does this work? Do the civil aviation airlines know as to when there could be hostile drone and missile activity and they would not fly through those air paths? How does it work? Can it just suddenly break out of nowhere and they get caught up in the middle of this kind of action?
It is up to Russian air traffic control to advise approaching commercial aircraft of what is happening within Russian airspace. You are correct, perhaps, that commercial aircraft should not be flying into a Russian airspace within, say, 1,000 kilometres of Ukraine. Ukraine, for the last 3 years, has not allowed commercial air traffic into Ukraine. It's probably time that in Western Russia the same sort of rules apply. Now, it seems very unusual, probably for your listeners, that the aircraft ended up such a long way away from Grozny. The Russians not only, if you like, have their air defence systems, but they also jammed the global positioning system, the GPS navigation system. So the chances are that the aircraft was hit by the missile. The aircraft was in cloud. The pilots weren't that sure about which way to go, and they may have lost radio contact with Russian air traffic control. So if you like, they just headed to the other side of the sea.
Interesting. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Peter Layton, for joining us and getting his dark perspective there.
Thank you for having me.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.